Hi there, it's theory time with Musical Homestead. Are you ready to learn some more about theory? Are you ready to learn some more things about rhythm? If you are, let's get started. Welcome to the Musical Homestead. My name's Jenny. If this is your first time here at the Homestead, do me a favor and click on the subscribe button and then make sure you turn the bell on so you don't miss any of our fun games and activities. Today we are continuing on our theory journey, and today's lesson is a part of our elementary theory track. If you are in kindergarten through 5th grade, this is perfect for you. If you're 6th grade through adult, you're going to want our Theory Musica Track, and I'm going to link that in the description below. Today we are going on in our rhythm exploration, and we are doing pages 17, 18, and 19, which are in Unit 4. I am calling this Unit 4B. There was so much in Unit 4, we're dividing it into 3 different lessons. You want to make sure that you've done all of the lessons up into this, and you also want to make sure that you have your textbook, The Fundamentals of Piano Theory, and you have the answer key. I'm going to link both of those in the description below if you need to pick those up. You want to get those before you get started. Once you've done all of that, we're ready to go. If you were to look at this, would you say that we're in 2/4, 3/4, or 4/4? Look at how many counts I have. I would say we're in 2/4. We are in a measure of 2/4. I know it looks a little bit different. I'm going to explain that in a minute. But this is an example of a measure for 2/4. We learned when we're clapping and counting our quarter notes, we use our whole numbers. So 1, 2, 1, 2. And today we are going to learn how to clap and count eighth notes. First, we have to remember that 2 eighth notes equal a quarter note. This is our full count. That's why I have this rectangle here. This lets us know the quarter note is 1 full count or beat. Our eighth note is going to equally divide this into 2 sections. So when I draw a line, I'm equally dividing it into 2 different sections. Those are for my 2 eighth notes. Then we have to figure out how we're going to count those. We're going to keep our 1 and our 2 lined up with our beats. But for the other eighth note, we're going to write these little plus signs. Now the plus signs look like a plus sign, but when we say them, we say the word and. If I were clapping or counting this out loud, I would say 1 and 2 and 1 and 2 and. And I got to be really careful to make sure that it's all equal. It's always 1 and 2 and. If I was marching to it, my steps would be exactly equal. I want to take my quarter note and divide it exactly into 2 different counts. Now when we go ahead and we clap rhythms that combined eighth notes and quarter notes, we want it to sound a little bit like this. So if I'm going to start down here with my eighth notes, I'll say 1 and 2 and 1, 2, 1 and 2 and 1, 2. Which of these, the quarter note or the eighth note, was longer when I was counting them? The quarter note's longer because the quarter note equals 2 eighth notes. A little trick that I like to have some of my students do is whisper the and here to make sure that we give this quarter note its full count. So I want to give you a little example of what that's going to look like. It would go like this: 1 and 2 and 1 and 2 and 1 and 2 and 1 and 2 and. Did you hear me whispering the and in there? That helps when we're learning to go back and forth between eighth notes and quarter notes to make sure that this quarter note gets the full rectangle beat. As we look at our no bar line example, we have to add bar lines, but we're also going to add counts. We're going to write in the counts and then we're going to clap it. We're in 2/4. So that means 2 counts in a measure, and a quarter note is going to get 1 count. Our first note we have is a half note. Now remember, a half note gets 2 counts, which fills our measure. So we're going to draw a bar line here. 1, 2. Now we move over to our eighth notes. 2 eighth notes equal 1 quarter note, so 1 count. This is 1. 1 more quarter note is going to be 2. So we have 1, 2. And we need to draw our bar line, and we're starting over again, 1, 2, because we have 2 quarter notes. So yay, we have 1, 2, 3 measures and 2/4. Now it's time for us to write our counts in. We know that our half note gets 2 counts, so we're going to go 1, 2. Remember, I write that line in to remind me I'm holding the whole time and I'm not going to clap again. When we get to 8th notes, we're going to go 1 and 2. And then new bar line, so we're going to go back to 1 and we're going to say 1, 2. Yay, we got it. Now it's time to clap it. Get your clapping hands ready. We start here, and I'm going to say 1, 2, ready, go. 1, 2, 1 and 2. 1, 2. Were you able to keep up with me and keep a steady beat? I hope so. Let's try it again. So starting back here, remember every time you see my finger tapping, you are going to be clapping. Here we go. 1, 2, ready, go. 1, 2, 1 and 2. 1, 2. Great work clapping that in 2/4. As we move on to our time signature of 3/4, we're going to remember that the top number 3 tells us that there are 3 counts in a measure, and the bottom number 4 is telling us that our quarter note is getting 1 count. If you're looking at this, you're noticing that I'm also going to add all of my 8th notes down here, equally dividing my quarter note rectangle into 2 equal parts. The counting down here would go 1 and 2 and 3 and. Let's try that together. So get your clapping hands ready. Here we go. 1, ready, go. 1 and 2 and 3 and. Did you remember to say the and? I hope so. Now we're going to go ahead and we're going to go from the 8th notes to the quarter notes. So we're going to go all of here and then we're going to go up there. So let's try it together. Ready? 1, ready, go. 1 and 2 and 3 and. 1, 2, 3. Did you add the whisper 8th? The whisper and? Or were you able to just count 1, 2, 3? I'm going to go ahead and do it again. I'm going to add the whisper and this time. So starting down here. 1, ready, go. 1 and 2 and 3 and. 1, 2 and 3 and. Awesome job. Now on this page, they also are introducing in your textbook that you can have 8th notes go together in groups of 2, but you can also have an 8th note go together in a group of 4. We can have 4 8th notes all working together. Now here's my question. If I have 4 8th notes all grouped together with one big long bar line, how many counts is that going to equal in our 3/4 measure? Well, I hope you said 2. I hope you can see how these and these 4 are going to equal the same as 2 of our rectangles up here. Are you ready to do our no bar line example in 3/4? I hope so. The 3 tells us we have to count to 3 in each measure, and the 4 tells us that our quarter note is going to get 1 count. Here we go. 1, 2, 3. We have 3 quarter notes. Then we're going to draw a bar line. Now we have a half note, so we have how many counts? 1, 2, 3. Good job. Now, do you remember how many counts a dotted half note gets? 3. Good job. So that gets 3. Fills the measure. We're going to draw it. Oh, and we see 4 of our 8th notes traveling together. So this is 1 count, 2 counts, and then 3 counts. We have all of our measures full of 3 counts. Now it's time to write the counts in. So see if you can join me, or maybe do it faster than I do. I'm going to go 1, 2, 3 for our 3 quarter notes. Remember our half note is 2 counts. I'm going to draw the little line there. So I know it has to hold for 2 counts. Our dotted half note is 3. 1, 2, 3. The lines are helping me. And then we have our ands. Here we go. 1 and 2 and 3 to fill all of our measures. Now warm up your clapping hands, and we're going to give this a try. We're going to start here, and we're going to say 1, ready, go. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1 and 2 and 3. How'd you do? Did you get it? Awesome. Let's try it one more time, starting at the top. Here we go. 1, ready, go. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1 and 2 and 3. Great job. This is not easy. You guys are doing really well. The last time signature we're going to talk about today is 4/4. Now we remember that the top 4 tells us there are 4 counts in a measure, and the bottom 4 tells us that a quarter note is going to get 1 count. I have my rectangles again. Each quarter note is 1 rectangle, and I've also taken the rectangles and divided them into 2 equal parts for my eighth notes. Right now my eighth notes are still traveling in pairs, and we're still going to count them by saying 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. We're still going to do those counts. When I go now to count my quarters, I'm going to whisper count my and to make sure I keep a steady beat. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. I want to make sure my quarter note is getting this full rectangle of space as I'm doing it. So if I'm going to go from my eighth notes to my quarter notes, it's going to sound like this. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. Now we're ready for our 4/4 no bar line example. Remembering that the top number 4 tells us 4 counts in a measure, and the bottom number 4 is telling us that a quarter note gets 1 count. So we need bar lines. See if you can help me out. 2 eighth notes equal 1 count, so we're at 1, 2, then a half note's going to be 2 counts, so 3, 4, and then a bar line. Now we have a quarter note, 1, another 1, 2, and then we have 4 eighth notes together, 3 and 4 and then a bar line. Then I put something fun at the end. We have our whole note, and how many counts does the whole note equal? 4. Great, so we have 3 measures in 4/4. Now it's time to write our counts in. When I start with the eighth notes, I'm going to go 1 and 2, 3, and remember I like my dash to help remember that I have to hold it for 4. 1 and 2, 3, 4. Perfect. Now we're back here. We've got 1, 2, 3, and 4, and. I have my 4 eighth notes that are traveling together. We learned about that. They can travel in groups of 2 or in a group of 4. And then I end with my whole note, so I'm going to have lots of dashes here because I want to remember I'm going to hold it the whole time. Did you guys get that right? You guys are getting really good at this, so I'm sure you did. Let's go ahead and do our counting. We're going to start together. I'm going to point. I want you guys to get your clapping hands ready. Here we go. 1, 2, ready, go. 1 and 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3 and 4 and 1, 2, 3, 4. You're going to hold that whole time. Good job. Okay, let's try it again. Starting back at the top. 1, 2, ready, go. 1 and 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3 and 4 and 1, 2, 3, 4. By now, you guys are so good. I bet you're clapping these all the time. You can do it slowly. You could do it fast. You are becoming experts at rhythm. Well, how did it go? I bet you did a great job adding eighth notes to your clapping and your counting. Now you can clap examples that have eighth notes, quarter notes, half notes, dotted half notes, and whole notes. Great job. We're just going to keep adding more and more to it. You're doing a wonderful job. Did you notice at the bottom of each of your pages, there's an example that looks like music? It has the grand staff, a treble clef, a bass clef, and notes that are actually on the staff. Here's the deal. They want you to be able to play those on the piano. But before you just try to sit and play them, I want to give you a couple tips to do and some steps to walk through to make you more successful when you go to play examples like that. I created this sheet, and you can find it at my website, themusicalhomestead.com, and I'll link it in the description below. It Might be something good to print out and keep in your book, your textbook, or maybe just keep on the piano to help you when you're doing new sections. The first thing you want to do is you want to write in the counts. Now we know how to do that. So go ahead and write the counts in. The second thing you want to do is you want to check your work with the answer key. We don't want to practice things incorrectly. So you want to make sure you've written all the counts in, that you've put all the ands where they need to go, and that you always look at the time signature and start with 1 at the beginning of each measure. So make sure you do that. The third thing you want to do is you want to clap and count the rhythm. Don't play it on the piano yet. We want to get the rhythm piece right first. So clap and count the rhythm. Do it a few times. Count out loud. We should hear you clapping and we should hear your voice saying the counts. Then you want to find your hand position. When you look at each of the examples, the first note that you come across in the treble clef and the first note that you come across in the bass clef is going to have a number above or below it. That is a finger number. In the piano, our hands, our fingers all have numbers. Our thumbs are 1, and then we go 2, 3, 4, and 5. Those are our finger numbers. So let's say that in the treble clef, the first note is a treble C, and it has a 5, which would mean my pinky. I'm gonna place that on C, and then every finger is gonna find the next white key on the piano, and that's gonna be my hand position. You wanna find the hand position for both of your hands before you get started with anything else. We've already done our rhythm, we've clapped, now we found our hand position. The last thing we're gonna do is we're gonna play our example, and you notice the word I used here. Slowly. We are doing not only the notes, but the rhythm. We have 2 different things happening in our brain. In order to be able to do it successfully, you have to do it slowly. Even slower than you think. Think about a turtle, and you're moving really slowly when you play. Run through the example a few times and make sure that you're doing the correct rhythm and the correct notes. Once you can play it correctly, slowly, then you can gradually speed it up. You are all done with Unit 4B. Great job! Woohoo! Now you need to do your homework. First, make sure you do all your pages in your book and then check them with the answer key to make sure you did them correctly. I'm going to link in the description below some games you can play that'll help you out with rhythm. And also remember to check out that app I recommended. That'll help get you better at counting your rhythm. The flashcards that I linked in a couple of the other videos, I'm going to link as well because they have some rhythm examples for you to clap. The more you practice, the better you get at rhythm. Before you go, do me a favor, click the subscribe button, give us a thumbs up, turn the bell on so you don't miss any of our fun games and activities. And once you're done and ready, you need to find Unit 4C, and we're going to learn some more rhythm. Have a great day, and always remember to have fun learning music.